new title at Contractor Dynamics is, I believe, I'm not even sure actually, which is funny. I believe it's head of community and partnerships. Is that correct? And if so, what does that mean?
That is correct. I'm glad that you have some idea of what my title is around here.
We're not
Um,
big on titles. We just get stuff done.
that's right. Get stuff done. Who cares what we're called? Yeah, and in some of our meetings, I am referred to, and I'm talking about when I'm meeting with owners of companies, I'll be referred to as many other things like, well, yeah, bro, this, or dude, I have to do blah 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 with my marketing, or that kind of thing. So I'll answer to all of it, but head of community is correct. What that means is I do a few different things internally at Contractor Dynamics. So I am heading up our sales team, our marketing advisors. I am head of our partnerships. So I get to know other companies in the industry who serve the roofing industry, whether that's they've got some kind of a technology or some kind of another group, they're a manufacturer or distributor. I also work with our clients in that I help make sure that everyone is having an excellent experience here. They've got everything that they need. If they need some support with recruiting and hiring, because I do that for CD, I'm there to help with that. I know that recruiting and hiring is definitely a challenge, especially when it comes to hiring people on your leadership team and marketing team members. So that's something that I help our clients do as well.
Wow, fantastic. That was all great, but I need to go back. Do our clients and prospects actually call you bro?
It's happened before. Actually, this week on a call, and here's when it happens. It happens when they start to get a little bit worked up about what's going on in their marketing department. And I
Yeah.
met with a company owner who was frustrated because he said he spent about 25 grand last year in marketing, and he did not, in fact, he saw when he was looking at his metrics, he saw his metrics declining actually, and he hadn't spent 25 grand the year before, and he started to get a little bit worked up about it, and then he did call me bro. It was like, well, bro, I did sorry about that. But it's definitely happened before.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. Yeah, as you know, our son is 12 years old and he's like at the phase where he is broing everyone, including Alyssa. And it's just me last night. We're having this heated conversation, uh, impassioned, not heated. So yeah, it's funny. So you're really good at what you do and really good at building that community, whether it's internal or with our clients, our prospects, at events, our webinars. And so I think that people they feel comfortable opening up to you and kind of sharing things with you that are going well, that aren't going well, like you just alluded to. What's what's something that's pretty common that roofing company owners will open up to you about, whether it's our clients or prospects? What's a common struggle that, marketing might be the obvious one, but is there something else less obvious that they're opening up to you about as a trusted advisor?
Hmm. That's a good question. I would say marketing being such a big function of the business, it bleeds over in many different areas. And most of the time when I'm, in a one-on-one meeting with an owner, marketing comes into the conversation. But because marketing has everything to do with hitting goals. It has everything to do with whether or not you're making money. It has everything to do with how happy your sales team members are. It has everything to do with, honestly, tension inside your business. Those things come up as well. I hear very often. I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall when people are
Mm,
saying they're trying to grow their company, and a storm comes through and things go well, and maybe marketing goes on the back burner because business is falling in their lap. And then when there's not a giant storm and they're trying to figure things out, they get frustrated and they'll see team members quitting. They'll see, general tension in the office. They're not making the money that they want to make. So I hear those things a lot. And I think it's just because marketing, affects everything else in the business. And those are tough things to hear. Thankfully, we're helping people address those issues and uncover the root of those issues. But I would say that's a common thing that I hear.
Yeah, that's what our integrator Steve likes to refer to it as root cause analysis, right? So let's get to the root of it. Let's figure it out. And I really like that because a lot of times we put band-aids on things. We're moving fast. We want to solve a problem today. We're not zooming out and looking at how do we solve the problem for like not just today, but the long term. So getting that root cause is really key. And a lot of times that comes down to not marketing, but people and leadership and communication and accountability. And that can lead you to feel like you're banging your head against the wall, or as they call it in EOS, hitting the ceiling, which we all do, right? We're not perfect. We're in the grind as much as you guys in the audience are as well. So that's why I love what we do, is because we're kind of like in the same, we're in the arena, right? We're in the arena with all of our clients. We're all trying to figure it out. We're marketing is our specialty, but there are other things in our business that aren't a specialty. So we are, as much as we're training and teaching our clients, we're learning things from them as well. So
A hundred
it's
percent.
fun. It's
A
fun.
100%. Yeah. I will say I have definitely grown significant more empathy for business owners because the reality is that it's difficult. It is. There are so many ups and downs, and I think a lot of people think, well, once I get to X million, or once I hire that person or something, then it'll be so much easier. But the reality is that it's a cycle, right? As you grow, there are more problems that you didn't think about. And even when you're hitting your revenue goals, now you've got to hire more people and you're dealing with more personnel issues potentially. And then you're having to refine systems and that kind of things. And man, I have so much more empathy for people who are leading businesses because it's a challenge. I mean, we know that here at Contractor Dynamics, gosh, you go through ebbs and flows of all sorts of things going on. And we're definitely not meant to do this alone. I'm thankful to have good people in my corner, and definitely business owners need to have their people for sure.
Yes, as you're talking, I'm pulling up my phone. I get a text. This is on 3 days ago, from one of our clients. We're just kind of chatting about it's we're recording this in January, so kind of recap of last year. And I'll paraphrase a little bit. He said, "Biz and entrepreneurship was a little bit more challenging than I expected after adding people." LOL. God bless you and all the other entrepreneurs that skillfully navigate managing people of all kinds and ages. So this is a company that's been, done really well, and they grew a lot last year. They added people, and like you said, or kind of alluded to, new levels, new devils, right? We think that once we get there, it'll be easy. We'll just hire a sales guy and we'll be crushing it, yeah. But then there's other problems that we don't know. So,
That's right.
and that's kind of it's challenging. It's sometimes really stressful, but to me it's kind of like part of the addicting part of this entrepreneurship game as well, because it's like, all right, a new challenge, I gotta figure this out. And I know you're the same way as well. You hate like not being able to figure something out, right? So you get to, in your role, in your multifaceted role, you get to talk with lots of owners, as we talked about. What do you think? And we have clients that are, brand new. We've got clients that have been in the industry for 30 years, big companies, small companies, you name it. We have the pleasure of working with so many different awesome leaders. What do you think separates the top 1% of companies from the rest? Like if you see
Mhm.
younger companies, newer companies, they're like, oh, I want to get there. It's like where those guys are, right? Those guys, meaning like the 1%. What do you think separates them from the rest?
Man,
I'm sh-
that's a great question. Um, you know, there are many different things, right? But I'm gonna say it's the people. It's the quality of the people that you have around you. I know that we heard someone in our mastermind mention that when someone has a pulse and they're interested in a job that we're looking for, we're probably interested in bringing them on, right? And so thankfully that person is looking to improve their recruiting and hiring process, which is great. But the reality is that sometimes we wait so long to find people in our business that we truly do. The first person that walks through the door who can hold a conversation, we bring them on. And I think that the companies that withstand the storms, no pun intended, of growing a business, they are being extremely intentional about bringing on the best possible people in their organization. And they are very strategic about getting the right people in the right seats. The people who, like we like to say, because we run on EOS, the people who get it, who want it, who have the capacity to do it, and not being married to people when we know it's time to move in a different direction, because sometimes the people and the systems that got us to one place are not the same people and systems that'll get us to the next place, which is difficult. But I think being intentional about making sure that at all times consistently we're measuring if we have the right people in the right seats. So I'm going to say people. Obviously there are a lot of systems as well, but we've got to have the right people, otherwise our business will not last.
That is true. Yes. We are EOS nerds here. If you did not know, entrepreneurial operating system. We're not going to dive into that. Don't worry. We have other episodes where we do. But one of the EOS library books is actually called People. Subtitle is Dare to Build an Intentional Culture. So if you're struggling with that people component, even if you are the people, you're the only person and you're struggling with yourself, because we all need to lead ourselves as well. That people book is really, really good. It's one of the newer ones that came out recently over the last couple of years. So yeah, that people book is huge. Rather, the people component is huge. I was just talking to Steve before. Steve is our integrator, COO here at Contractor Dynamics for you guys in the audience. And we were talking about the digital marketing specialist that we are going to hire this quarter. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to grill the heck out of these people in the interview process, because everyone likes to overstate what they do. And we're gonna, I don't care if someone's 2 days into the job, if they are not who they say they are, we're gonna cut ties right away. Like, I'm not, like, this is too important of a position for someone to be learning on our dime. Of course, we'll teach them a bunch of things, but like, we have to be really intentional about that. And we started planning for this hire like 3 months ago. So we have it all mapped out, the hiring process, the funnel, the ads, the videos, the predictive index, behavioral, cognitive assessments, all of that's all planned out. So we just need to put people in that funnel and work the system. So yeah, Elizabeth mentioned, don't wait so long to hire people. I'd recommend at least 90 days in advance of when you want that person to start that process of finding that person, and always be building your bench. That's huge.
Yes.
Always be building that bench, working your network, putting out, building that brand that's going to be attractive to people. We're getting off topic here, but yeah, it's important.
Very important. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's one of those things that definitely sets people apart. When we're not careful about our people, of course, it's going to be difficult to build an amazing brand and future proof our company.
After talking with all these roofing company owners like every day, do you ever have the itch to start a roofing company someday, or contracting company or anything like that?
1000% no. However, I know that you've played with the idea before, so I'd love to hear a little bit about that for you. But I absolutely would not. No, I have absolutely no interest. Luckily, contractors really need some support when it comes to marketing, so we've got a little job security there. No, I have no interest in doing that. However, every now and then I think through, oh man, if I'm in his shoes, her shoes, like this is what I would do. But that never is fleshed out long enough for me to say, let me go start my company and
All
gather
right.
crew
You
members.
might be offending some people, Elizabeth. Come on.
That's all right.
That's a very emphatic no. There's no deliberation about that. Wow. Yeah, you're right. We do have knock on wood, we have some pretty good job security here.
We do, but I would throw that question back at you. I think you've toyed with the idea a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, as recently as this week, honestly. Well, yeah, 2 years ago, I actually did go down the path. I got the LLC, built the website, started to look into getting insurance for the company. And then my business coach at the time, Mike Claudio, some of you guys know Mike Claudio, Win Rate Consulting, called me out on it. And he's like, bro, are you just doing this because you're frustrated with contractor dynamics and it's a shiny object? And I'm like, damn you, you're right. So put that on the back burner. Actually, just last year, because like we were paying some stupid registration fees for that LLC. We just paid more fees to dissolve it. So that no longer exists. But then this week, I'm like, man, it'll be fun. I think it'd be challenging. Um, it'll be fun. I need an operator. Like I wouldn't operate it. I mean, I'd want to own it and I'd want to have, some strategic direction and say in it. Um, I think it'd be a good case study. It'd be fun to try out a bunch of different things. The best of the best, right? We have
Yeah.
great relationships. We know uh all the people, not all the people in the industry, but like a lot of great people, consultants, software, marketing, sales training, all that sort of thing. Obviously, knowing that and then being able to put all those pieces of the puzzle in place is, that's a whole other ball game. I'm not going to claim that I know how to do that. That's why I think it'd be a fun case study and document the whole process, share it on social media. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in the roofing industry. There's a lot of money would not be the primary driver of that, but certainly there's money to be made. There's private equity activity. I'm not in a major metropolitan area, so there's not a lot of like big players here. It's not like crazy hard to stand out like it is in like Dallas or Denver or something like that, So it is exciting. It is not exciting. It is like fun to kind of, daydream about that for a minute or two. But right across here on my wall behind you, behind the screen, is my vision board and our goals. And I'm really locked in on that. So that's that would be a distraction at this point.
A
If it were
distraction.
ever, we get this business to where that would not be a distraction, maybe. Yeah.
That's cool. I think the only thing that entices me about it is that everything that we do is remote, which I love. I love that kind of flexibility,
Uh-huh.
that sort of thing. But it is the idea of being able to build a local brand when you're out in your community and you're building those relationships and you have maybe an office building where all your people are there tangible together and you get to, sponsor the schools and do all of that kind of thing, be on a build site and have that kind of branding. That I think is very exciting. I always get so excited when we bring on contractor clients who are in the younger phases of their business and we can help them with that, or maybe they're going through a refresh, maybe they're an OG company and their CRM is like a file cabinet, that they need
Yeah.
to modernize and now they're wanting to really invest in that. That's so exciting. I love that piece of it, but the rest of it, you roofing companies can keep it.
Yeah, that part of it's exciting to me as well. Being a remote team, having that kind of vibe. You see clients of ours like Indie Roof Company, they're playing ping pong and
Yeah.
foosball, and then yeah, like Watkins Construction, like they're always doing something fun. And a lot of these guys, I love it. So that is pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, so Joe, let's say that Contractor Dynamics is at a place where now, the team, we're really running things and we're kind of trying to get you out of here so you can focus on some other things. Okay, let's say you start up your roofing company. It's week one of your business. What are you going to do right away to be really creative with your brand and to start making some connections in your local community?
Yeah, I love that question. So this goes back to when I started Contractor Dynamics back in the day as an OG, as you would say. I started going to all these networking events and chambers of commerce and BNI, and honestly, most of it was kind of boring. And I also didn't know what I was doing. And we're focused on just the construction industry. So I was like, I'd rather just like focus my firepower. So I started my own networking group, and that's how we started Contractor Dynamics. That's how, well, I say we, back then it was just me. That's how I got my first couple clients. And so that's what I would do. I would not try to really get a seat at anyone else's table. I'd build my own table, and I would host a big grand opening event. We'd have like just, food, local vendors, probably knowing me, like we'd have a sauna, we'd have a cold plunge, we'd have some kind of like, arm wrestling or something fun, something for the kids, bring out the community. People can network, get to know one another, and really be bringing people together like that. So I love that aspect of it. And then you get great content, right? You get a lot of good video content, photos, and all that. So that you have that event, and then you have that content that you're using for the next several months, and then you're making a big splash, and you're making some memorable moments there for people in your community. So, yeah, I would do that. And it doesn't require a ton of money. Like, so if you're out there listening to this, watching this, get some sponsors, get some local sponsors to show up. You know, food, whatever it might be. People are willing to donate their food and show up for free just to have some brand recognition. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Most local businesses suck at marketing. So you give them an opportunity to get in front of people, and they're going to be all over that. So yeah, I think that would be the way I would go, make a big splash.
I love it. So everybody in the New Jersey area in the next couple years, when Joe has a big opening, note there will be a sauna and a cold plunge that you can come partake in
Oh yeah,
his open house. I love that. That's great. Yeah, people forget that nobody really wants to come to a roofing company open house unless you do things like that to make it exciting and to make it fun. And when you do that, the point is to get people there. That's the point. It's just to build
right.
some new relationships and to grab some attention like that. That's super cool. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of times we're limited by obviously we're limited by our mindset, right? Our belief. So when something like that comes to mind, I was talking about that. A lot of people are probably like, oh, like adding up the dollars in their head, like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be really expensive. Like I couldn't do that. But just go through the exercise. Okay. What if someone gave you $50,000 to host an amazing grand opening event or grand reopening if you've been in business, right? Just go through that exercise. Like, what would you do? Okay. Then you have that ideal scenario. And then, yeah, get creative, talk with people, brainstorm, throw it out there. Like I said, get sponsorships and other things like that. At least go through that exercise, and don't limit yourself by your belief lid, as Ed Milet would say.
That's
Or
good.
John Maxwell, actually, my bad. Ed Milet stole it from John Maxwell.
We're all kind of stealing and reusing
Oh
that kind of
yeah, R&D, rip off and duplicate.
That's right. That's right. Well, you mentioned sauna and cold plunge, and everybody who knows Joe Hughes knows that personal health and fitness and that kind of thing is big to you. And I'm curious, are there things on that in that part of your life, principles that you've learned, lessons that you've learned that you apply to day as a business owner?
Oh yeah, just at its core, just do hard things, and you prove to yourself that you can do hard things and you're not going to die. And I mean, sure, there's hard things that you can do, climbing Mount Everest where you might die, but I haven't done that yet. But you give yourself the confidence that you can do things that you put your mind to, that seem hard, that maybe you're doubting yourself, and then you do it and like, I did it, right? And subconsciously you're building that confidence muscle that is so necessary in business, and building that grit, and just like, going through hard things. And yeah, I mean, I intentionally put myself in those positions because, I mean, I live a pretty, I think we all, most of us do, right? We live pretty cushy lives, like pretty comfortable lives, right? If you're listening to this on a $1,000 iPhone, then we're pretty comfortable.
You're doing
All things considered, perspective is huge. So yeah, I like to intentionally put myself into hard things to build that muscle for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. Well, I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about being in the seat of an owner and how really your whole leadership team in a business. Like there are ups and downs, it's a lock arms and struggle together, win together, celebrate together, that kind of thing. But I'm curious. I was talking to a business owner recently who said he's going through this weird identity shift because he is digging more into what his role needs to look like in the company based on what his kind of working genius is,
Mm.
what's really most natural to him. And he's discovered he's more of a visionary. He's more of a person who is, he's casting the ideas, he's talking about where the company's going, he is, learning more about ways they can innovate, but he's not quite as good at the day to day, behind the scenes, the systems, the accountability, that kind of thing. But he was talking about what a weird shift it is, to really be functioning that way. And I think I've heard you talk about that a little bit as well. So to that person who's the owner and has other people in the business running things, any advice or anything that you would say to that person?
Yeah, when you talk about that, the concept that comes to mind is it feels like sometimes like you're going through puberty and you're just like and you're just like, okay, I was this person, but now like there's things going on that I'm supposed to be going into this other person, and I feel really awkward and I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And so there's that period of that. I've never thought of it that way until just now. Um, but yeah, there's that awkwardness, like who am I? And I went through that not puberty, but this business shift about 6 months ago. And I did take the working no, it was the Colby A. I took the Colby A assessment, and it came back with an asterisk in the third metric. I forget what it's called. And I was like, why did I get an asterisk? And I pinged Brian Alexander, our trusted advisor on all of those things. And he's like, oh yeah, at any given time, 10% of the people that take this test are in transition, where there's going to be like basically an inconclusive result for your assessment because there's such a transition. And 6 months ago, I was going through a transition there in my role. Um, so yeah, it can be hard. I would say definitely lean on your people. If that's your team, like you guys, you Elizabeth, and the rest of our leadership team. If you have business coach, if you have a trust advisor, business partner, spouse, therapist, whoever, your inner circle, lean on those people. Just like when you're going through puberty, like don't try to figure it out all on your own. You got to get some advice from other people, and do some soul searching. You got to take some time, in the OS, they call it clarity breaks, take some time away, do some journaling, some praying, go sit in the woods, meditating, whatever it is for you. Hallucinogenic drugs. I don't do that, but I know some people that do. Some of our clients have talked about that. And it sounds really cool. So whatever that is for you, get some clarity on that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, but definitely get vulnerable with your team. And if you're like, yeah, I'm not really sure how I should be spending my time right now, like, what do you think? And if you have great team members like we do, like they'll give you that feedback because they can see things a little bit more objectively.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, just realize that, no one is Superman or Superwoman. We think we can be, and we think we can do all the things and be everything, but at the end of the day, that's not possible. So you got to find, what your unique ability is, your working genius, whatever label you want to put on it, and just, go all in on that.
That's good. Yeah. I meet with a lot of owners. I meet with owners all over the country weekly, and sometimes I'm meeting with an owner operator, sometimes I'm meeting with owners of, growing $5 to $10 million businesses. And recently I've met with a handful of owners who are building, 30 to $80 million businesses. And what I'm finding is that as the owner goes through these phases, whether it's like year over year, season over season, revenue marker, different milestones, the way that you function as an owner will change over time, right? So it's never, most of the time you're never doing the same thing in the beginning that you are, as you reach those larger milestones. It's going to be something that changes. Let's say that I'm a roofing company owner and I'm in that 30 to 80 million, I've got a larger company and I am more removed from maybe the day-to-day operations. What would you say to that owner when they're trying to figure out how they still fit into the marketing? And the reason I'm asking you that is because a handful of the owners I've met with recently have mentioned, yeah, we've got a marketing team. I have a marketing person, I have a marketing agency, we're doing all these marketing things. I just want them to do more for me. I want them to be doing more. I want them to be, moving forward. And then I'll talk to them about, well, how often are you with them? And what do they get from you? And what kind of accountability is there? And usually there's a degree of separation. So I'm curious, from your seat as the owner and the marketing department, how involved, what does that involvement need to look like? What advice would you give that owner?
That's such a great question. I would say, the dollar figure is going to vary, but anywhere under $100 million in annual revenue, you're going to want to, the owner, you want to have I don't want to say, but you want to have some input into the marketing. And really, that's not necessarily like pulling the levers and turning the dials of the marketing. That's more about the vision. So a lot of times, I was just talking with a business owner about this morning. A lot of times, we have this vision. You might have a vision, Elizabeth, in your head of what CD looks like. I might have a vision of what an aspect of like our marketing looks like, or client experience. I know that's something we're focusing on now, is that client experience. And we're not always good at like sharing that with the rest of the team. And so I think a lot of times when owners are like, yeah, I wish that my marketing team would do this. Well, have you ever, like, kind of like you mentioned, like, have you ever had that conversation with them? Like, are you involved, or are you just kind of like hoping that they'll figure it out? Because at the end of the day, you're a leader for a reason. You got to lead people, and they want to be led. Everyone wants to be led, and everyone wants to be a leader. So getting clear on that vision of what that looks like, whether it's that annual revenue target. Hey, we're going for 80 million bucks this year. That's our target. Here's our target net profit. Here's like the drivers that are going to help us get there. And then be involved in those, obviously the quarterly leadership meetings that you're going to have. Your marketing person you should have a marketing at that size. Your in-house marketing person should be on the leadership team. So you're at least involved there. Should you be involved in the weekly meetings? Probably not. Starting next month, I'm not going to be involved in every weekly marketing meeting, which is definitely an identity shift for me because I am like marketing guy, right? But making sure that you're on the same page with your marketing team with that vision and what success looks like, and of course what your brand is all about. What are some non-negotiables on the brand? um yeah, just having those at least quarterly check-ins, probably more if you have a younger, say younger, but if you have a newer in-house marketing person or team, obviously you're going to be involved, maybe every other week or maybe once a month. As your marketing team matures and gets more senior level, maybe you back off. And that's part of the art of being a leader, an entrepreneur, is knowing how much you need to be involved. There's a great book called The Great CEOs Are Lazy, and the title is a little bit maybe funny. It's not really about being lazy. No one here wants to be lazy, right?
Yeah.
But it is about the 5 hats that an entrepreneur wears, a CEO wears. And so there's the architect, there's the engineer, there's the player, there's the coach, and there's the learner. And so you got to know as a leader, when do I put on those hats, and for how long am I putting on that hat, right? So I might be a player in our marketing department. I might go in and do some things in marketing, but I'm only keeping that hat on for a little bit. I got to take it off. I got to put on my coach hat because Lily needs some help over here. So that's, to me, is it's hard, but it's exciting. So that's a long answer. So you
No,
got
that's
it,
good
but there's
stuff.
context to everything, and that's why that's why if you're looking to figure out your marketing, like that's why straight up you need to be working with Contractor Dynamics. I mean, come on. It's just a natural, like we can provide you with that guidance so you don't have to wing it. um and that's the value, that's a part of the value that we bring that most people don't realize. Like, yeah, we help you with your Facebook ads and Google ads and all the things marketing, but on a more macro strategic level, we that's what we help our clients with, like, every day.
That's right. Yeah. You asked me a question earlier about the 1% and what kind of sets them apart, and I was talking about people, and it's people, and it's surrounding that, it's the way that the people work together, and a big piece of that is accountability. I will say that one of the most common things that we hear from our clients is they love the accountability of having someone there week over week, month over month, checking in. Your goal was this, but you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Are we going to do this? Is this still the goal? All right, let's do this week. Let's go. Let's get this done. That kind of thing. And obviously, you want internally to have that culture inside your business of we're setting clear goals. They're smart goals. We know how we're going to measure them. We know how we're going to get there, and this is what we're going to do week over week over week to ensure that we get there. Right? And we're checking in week over week. Are we off track? Are we on track? It also helps to have someone in your corner, like a consultant, like a coach, like a trainer, who can be there to help you in areas where you maybe don't already have those particular skills or things that you need, to have someone in your corner who's going to help you learn those and then hold you accountable to that activity. Because most of the time there's no one and done, like we do it one time and that marketing thing works forever, right? There are things that we have to work on over time, meaning having that accountability really helps us stick to it. It helps us see things through until we make a really good habit and a system inside our business where we can meet those goals. So that accountability piece is huge.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think of that accountability as a four-letter word, like, oh, I don't want to I don't want a babysitter, I don't want to be micromanaged, but we all need it. We all need it, whether it's internally or having outside consultants, coaches, trainers, you name it, mastermind groups. We all need it.
Absolutely. I have a friend who used to say she hated the idea of an accountability partner because in her head she envisioned, somebody who's screaming at you at 4 in the morning to get out of your bed to go to the gym because you said you would, and it's just, whatever, one of those things that she wasn't super excited about. But the reality is that it's without accountability, we struggle to get the things done that we really need to get done on a long-term basis to get where we want to be. And so I would say it's like a way of life to be accountable and to put other people intentionally in our corner so that we're all accountable to the things that we say we want.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you and me and the rest of our team, that's something we it's something that we never really thought that, like, I never thought that we'd play that role as a marketing company, but that is such a big role.
It's huge.
And it's fun. It's great. And it's how we connect with people.
Yeah, it's great. And the one of the best things ever is when we're playing that piece and it's week over week over week, and then our clients come back and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much because look what happened." And then they share maybe the leads that they got, or they share the contracts that they closed from the leads that they got to generate on their own, or they share that, "Oh my gosh, now we looked over our results from the last month and look at how much higher they are than the last month. Look at these traffic reports," or whatever. Or, "Hey, we stuck to it. We recruited, we had those meetings, we brought on a person, and now there's someone who owns marketing. Now I, the owner, don't have to do it all on my own." Whatever those wins are when we're doing that, those are the best. They feel so good. We have a Slack channel at Contractor Dynamics where we're celebrating our clients' wins too, and that is just, it's such an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes, as high performers and driven leaders that we all are, you're listening to this, you're watching this, you're driven, right? We don't Sometimes we don't take stock, we don't document those wins. We experience something, some win, and then we're just on to the next thing immediately. And sometimes it's really valuable to have that person being like, hey, like, that wasn't something that was possible a month ago. You did this work and now that's like a normal thing for you. and that's cool, is that builds momentum and confidence, like we talked about as well. So
Yeah.
uh, Elizabeth, I know that you have a meeting coming up, I believe, in 4 minutes. So hopefully bring on an awesome new roofing company into Contractor Dynamics community. So let's wrap this up. Audience would love to hear your feedback on this kind of casual, off the cuff episode. Elizabeth and I just want to get on here and, as I like to say, chop it up, talk about some of the things that we're seeing in the industry, what's going on behind the scenes at Contractor Dynamics. So let us know what you guys think of this. If you guys would like to hear us do this on a regular basis, if there's anything else that you want to hear. I mean, we're working with over 100 roofing companies right now of all shapes and sizes. We've been doing so for many, many years. So we have a really good inside look as to what's going on. So obviously we're not going to share proprietary secret information about any of our clients, but trends and patterns and things like that. We geek out over this stuff. So if you do, let us know, and maybe we can do more of these. Speaking of valuable content, one of Elizabeth's parts of her new cool role this year is she's put out more content on YouTube, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, as am I. We're all always continually leveling that up. So make sure that you follow Elizabeth Lytle on Facebook and LinkedIn. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Not so big on TikTok yet, but yeah, follow us. We're putting out a lot of content every week. Let's just say that. And we'd love to connect with you and love to get to know you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.